Hi everyone, welcome back to English Lab. I'm Leo. On this channel, you can follow real English podcasts for different levels like B1, B2, and C1, so you can improve your listening and vocabulary in a natural way. And remember, you have a free PDF study guide for this episode in the description, with key vocabulary, exercises, and questions to help you go deeper. One of the biggest complaints I hear from English learners is, I learn vocabulary, but I forget it a week later. Sound familiar? In 10 minutes, you'll know why your brain is deleting your English and the 3 specific steps to stop it forever. Today, we're tackling one of the most frustrating problems in language learning: vocabulary retention. And in this topic, I'm not alone. Luis is joining me for this conversation, and together, we're going to explore proven techniques that actually work, not just for English, but for how your brain remembers things. Are you ready? Let's go. Luis, let me start with something I hear constantly from students. They say, I use Duolingo, I memorize words, but 2 weeks later, I can't remember them. Why do you think that happens?
That's the million-dollar question, Leo. And the answer is, because the way most apps teach vocabulary is not how your brain actually remembers things. Your brain doesn't remember words in isolation. It remembers them when they have context, emotion, and repetition spread over time.
So passive memorization doesn't work?
Not for long-term memory, no. If you just look at a word and repeat it once, it goes into your short-term memory. But within 24 hours, you've probably forgotten 70% of it. This is called the forgetting curve, and it's real science.
The forgetting curve. I've heard of that. But what changes the curve?
3 things: spaced repetition, context, and emotion. Let me explain. Spaced repetition means you see the word again right before you forget it. Not too soon, that's boring and your brain doesn't work hard. But not too late either. Timing is everything.
So if I learn the word resilience today, when should I see it again?
Good question. Studies show you should see it again in about 24 hours, then 3 days, then 7 days, then 14 days, and so on. Each time you see it, your brain gets a stronger memory. It's like exercise for your brain. You need rest between repetitions.
That makes sense. And the second thing was context?
Yes, context is huge. If I just show you the word resilience and its definition, you might forget it. But if I tell you a story, like, during the pandemic, I learned about resilience when I lost my job, but decided to start learning English instead. Now the word has meaning. It's connected to an experience, an emotion.
So the word becomes alive, not just a definition.
Exactly. Your brain is not a dictionary. It's a storyteller. It remembers stories. It remembers emotions. It remembers connections. So if you want to remember vocabulary, you need to connect it to something real in your life.
And the third thing was emotion?
Emotion is actually the most powerful. If you learn a word and feel something, joy, surprise, even frustration, your brain marks that word as important and stores it deeper. This is why words you learn during intense experiences stick with you forever.
So if I'm angry or excited when I learn a word, I'm more likely to remember it?
Much more likely. Think about it. Do you remember vocabulary from when you were bored in a classroom? Probably not. But do you remember words you learned during a conversation where someone made you laugh? Absolutely.
So what does this mean practically? If someone is using Duolingo every day but forgetting words, what should they do differently?
First, stop relying only on apps. Apps are passive. You need active engagement. Second, use spaced repetition intentionally. There are apps like Anki that are designed around this principle. Third, and this is crucial, use the words in conversations, in writing, in real situations. Connect them to your life.
So it's not about studying more, it's about studying smarter.
Exactly. You could study 10 hours a week with bad methods and forget everything. Or you could study 5 hours a week with good methods and remember 80% of what you learn. The method matters more than the time.
That's powerful. Before we take a pause, one more question. Is there a limit to how much vocabulary you can actually remember?
No limit, really. Your brain has unlimited capacity. The limit is usually just how you're organizing information. If you study without a system, you'll plateau. But if you use proven methods, spaced repetition, context, emotion, conversation, you can keep growing indefinitely.
So, if you're sitting here thinking, I've been forgetting vocabulary forever and it's not my fault, you're right. The traditional way of learning vocabulary is broken. But now you know why. Download the study guide PDF in the description. It has all the key vocabulary from our conversation, comprehension questions, and exercises that help you apply spaced repetition and context to your own learning. It's completely free. If you're not subscribed to English Lab yet, subscribe now. We're releasing new episodes every week about real language learning techniques, not just textbook stuff. We have a community of people who want to learn smarter, not just harder. Now, let's get back to Luis and discover the specific techniques that work. All right, we're back. Luis, you mentioned spaced repetition and emotion, but I want to get specific. Can you give me 3 concrete techniques someone can start using today?
Absolutely. The first technique is called sentence mining. Instead of memorizing isolated words, you learn words inside sentences. When you encounter a new word, in a movie, a podcast, a book, you write down that entire sentence. Then, you use a spaced repetition app like Anki to review it.
So, instead of learning resilience equals strength, you'd learn it like, her resilience after the accident inspired everyone around her.
Exactly. Your brain now has context. It knows this word is about recovering from difficulty. It understands the feeling. When you see the sentence again in your app, you're not just memorizing. You're reviewing a scene from a movie or a moment from a book you read.
That makes so much sense. What's the second technique?
The second is conversation with intention. This is my personal favorite because it's also fun. You pick a word you want to remember, let's say ambition. Then you intentionally use that word in conversations this week, with a friend, with a teacher, even with yourself. You might say, my ambition is to reach C1 level. Every time you use it, your brain gets a little stronger memory.
And the emotion comes from actually using the word in a real conversation?
Yes. And from the slight discomfort of using a new word. Your brain marks that as important because you had to think about it. You had to choose to use it. That effort creates a stronger memory.
I like that. What's the third technique?
The third technique is vocabulary clustering. Instead of learning random words, you learn words in groups connected to a theme or experience. For example, if you're planning a trip to the beach, you learn sand, waves, sunscreen, shell, seagull, tide, all together, all in that context.
So your brain sees them as a cluster of related ideas?
Exactly. And when you go to the beach, or watch a beach scene in a movie, you suddenly remember all those words together. Your brain says, oh, this is the beach cluster I learned. The context helps you retrieve the words naturally.
So it's about creating these mental maps instead of random flashcards.
Precisely. Your brain is a connector. It loves patterns and relationships. Give it words in clusters, and it will remember them. Give it random words, and it will forget them.
Now, let's say someone starts these 3 techniques. How long before they see real results?
Real results? Within a week, if they're doing it consistently. You'll notice you're remembering more vocabulary from conversations. Within a month, you'll see a massive difference. Your vocabulary will feel more alive, more accessible. You won't have to search for words in your brain. They'll come naturally.
That's a big promise, but it requires consistency.
Yes, consistency is key. But notice I didn't say, study 3 hours a day. You could do sentence mining for 15 minutes a day, have one conversation with intention per day, and spend 10 minutes reviewing your vocabulary cluster. That's 35 minutes total.
So it's not about time, it's about method?
Exactly. I've seen people study 2 hours a day the wrong way and forget everything. And I've seen people study 30 minutes a day the right way and become fluent. The method is everything.
Okay, final question. Someone's trying these techniques, but they're still struggling. What's the most common mistake you see?
The most common mistake is giving up too early or not using the words in real life. People learn words, but never actually use them in conversation. And your brain needs that. Your brain needs to say, I learned this word, and I actually used it. It's real. It matters.
So it all comes back to real usage.
It always does. Language is for communication. If you're not communicating with the words you learn, you're not really learning them. You're just memorizing. There's a big difference.
Vocabulary retention doesn't have to be a mystery. Your brain is designed to remember, but it needs the right conditions. Spaced repetition, context, emotion, and real usage. You don't need to study more. You need to study smarter. And that starts with understanding how your brain actually works. The study guide PDF has all the vocabulary from today, exercises on spaced repetition, and a challenge where you practice sentence mining and conversation with intention. Download it, work through it, and you'll see your vocabulary retention improve dramatically. If this episode helped you understand how to learn better, subscribe to English Lab and turn on the notification bell. We're building a community of learners who want real results, not just busy work. And comment below, which technique are you going to try first? Sentence mining, conversation with intention, or vocabulary clustering? Let us know. Your answer might help someone else who's struggling with the same thing. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next English Lab episode. Keep learning, keep using the words, and watch your vocabulary grow.